my God.
Let's try this again.
So embarrassing. I don't know if I can.
Let's welcome to a new episode of Mimosas with Mickey. Today, we have something really fun for you.
But who's here?
I'm Ruthie.
And I'm Mike.
And we're Mimosas with
And there's
Mickey. And there's producer Reagan.
Reagan.
And she's going to be really helping us out a lot today, more than she normally does.
Yes.
But let's get this party started. Go ahead and open the bubbles.
Are we going to do this now?
Yeah,
okay.
do it now.
Wait. Oh, yeah, I did. Oh, 3, 2, 1. Oh my God.
Dude.
That shit gets everywhere.
Okay, pour. So while Mike is remedying this situation, Reagan, will you explain to us what we're going to be doing today?
Today, we'll be playing Reddit Reactions. I have found people's Disney hot takes on Reddit, and we'll see if they agree or disagree in the end with these hot takes.
That's going to be interesting.
I'm really looking forward to this. I'm not a Reddit girl, so I appreciate producer Reagan bringing this to us.
This is going to be like spitballing right at us, left and right, because I have no idea what's coming this way.
All right.
But I do have opinions, and I do have a pair of wet pants.
Okay.
I don't know how that's going to translate to audio.
I don't either. But let's start this off.
All right, to kick us off, the theme of the podcast as it is. Somebody said that Disney's cocktails are hit or miss. Sometimes they're overly elaborate for the sake of calling themselves fancy.
Okay. I agree with the first part, hit or miss, but I don't think it's because they're overly elaborate for the sake of calling them fancy. What I think is that sometimes they use way too much sugar and blue curacao and everything. If any drink has blue curacao in it, I'm not drinking it there because it's always overly sweet and just puckery. But they have some fantastic ones also. So yes, lots of hits, definitely some misses.
I'm going to agree with this. I do think a lot of the times that they're coming up with drinks, because if you've watched the podcast or watched the reels that Ruthie makes, the drinks that I make, I like to replicate a lot of these drinks that are popular. They get a lot of good fanfare.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, there's also a lot of them out there that I think they're just for show.
And they just don't taste that good.
And I think it follows on top of the sweetness that you put out there. Mm-hmm. They're making drinks in bulk and fast. Yep. If I go to Olga's, I can go anywhere on that menu, and it's something that's going to be interesting. Yes, they batch it.
Yep.
But they also take their time, and it's unique, and it has fanfare to it.
I think the festival drinks at Epcot, those are much more hit or miss. If you're doing the actual lounges, table service restaurants, they're going to be great.
Yeah. And then once you hit the pyramid and you go down to
La Cava del Tequila, his favorite ride.
Which is my favorite ride in all of Disney. And I would stand in line for 2 hours for that.
I was going to say, when we did the episode about standing in line, you would stand in line for 2 hours for La Cava del Tequila.
Definitely would.
Okay, cool.
Okay, yeah, but I don't disagree with that hot take over there. That's interesting. But I think the fact that you had that as a hot take means that we have more adults going to Disney than we think about.
Excellent.
And I like that.
Keep it going.
That a lot. Let's keep that.
All right. Tron felt unfinished.
After 4 years. You realize that ride took 4 years to finish, and it existed already.
Wait, I didn't know you were going to read my post.
They also suggested that Tron is proof that Imagineering is dead.
Ooh. Now that's a hot take. That's taken a little far. I don't think Imagineering is dead, and I'm really interested to see what happens over the next few years with all the announcements that they've made with the Villains Land and the Cars Land and the Monsters ride, the Monsters Door ride at Hollywood. These are all great ideas. I'd love to see how they do it.
I'm gonna, my take on Tron. It has.
Well, I do. Share it.
My take on Tron is, you have 8 seconds from the time they propel you out of the tube and through the open air. That is the only part of the ride that I enjoy.
Yeah.
The only part of the ride I enjoy.
Yeah.
I don't think enough people saw that movie
Well, it's
because
just,
it goes to the new part, not the
yeah,
old one.
yeah,
And I didn't know what was going on.
yeah,
I mean, I can only imagine riding Guardians
and
and
knowing
not
what's,
knowing what the movie was, but I could get through that ride
Yeah.
because the music is
it's
so
fun, right?
great.
Right.
But I have a problem with 4 years to do that
Yeah.
ride. And I'm not going to say Imagineering's dead, but I'm going to say that the stuff that they did at Epcot, from the first designs that they put out there on those buildings and what they uncovered and how long it took them,
Yeah.
I'm very disappointed in the buildings themselves.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say Imagineering has a little ways to go.
I think
on it.
Imagineering needs to get back. It's not in its prime,
I don't know what they're doing.
but there are glimpses of brilliance, like Moana's Journey of Water.
Okay, that was great. But they didn't do the other buildings in there. They made them conventions, and pavilions, and I'm like, these guys are great at what they do.
Yeah, let them do it.
Tiana, come on.
Yeah, we haven't written it yet.
It isn't that. It's just the rainforest. I mean, it's the Rainforest Cafe look. I mean,
it does look like the Rainforest Cafe from outside, doesn't it?
You have so much money and so many great people that could be on this.
And Tiana is such a great story.
It's a great story.
Yeah.
But they made it look like the rainforest. And
again,
listen,
we haven't written it yet. We'll talk about in November. We're going.
I'm going to
write it then
because we have a podcast to do and I have opinions to give.
All right. Okay, that's a good one.
This is a long one, and it's kind of based off of your most viral moment.
On me?
Everyone says the tangled restrooms in Magic Kingdom are the best ones, but I completely disagree. I love the Animal Kingdom restrooms, the ones next to the ice cream truck and the one in Dinoland across from Dinorama. Both seem to never have many people. Also love the Pandora and Galaxy's Edge restrooms for the theming. What are your favorite restrooms at Disney?
This is funny because when we were talking about doing a podcast before we even did our first episode, this is one of the topics that we would debate. What are our favorite restrooms to go to at Disney? I think we could have a whole episode about it. But hot take right here, I agree. The tangled restrooms are not the best. I mean,
I think too many people go to them because they've been overrated online.
And it's also very sad that that's the only bit of tangled we have.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
Because we need the Snuggly Duckling Lounge in Fantasy World. Fantasyland. Listen to us.
Yes.
Disney, this has to happen. But when she's referring to Mike's most viral moment.
Wait, let's just stay on task here because I will wrap it. I will wrap it up with what you're just about to tell me because you are so mad at me for this. But I will tell you, I agree with what she just said and with this. There are other ones. I will go in Epcot. I like the one in the Vikings area.
Norway. Yeah, those are great bathrooms.
They're clean.
Yeah.
Nobody goes over there. They're
because it's all the way back at the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just go in, do your duty, get out, wash your hands.
Yeah, let's put wash your hands in there. That's important.
What would be another one? Because I do think that Disney does a good job of keeping them clean, but there's some that shouldn't be.
We love the ones in Tomorrowland that are between Buzz and Carousel. No, but not between Buzz and Carousel, but on the other side of Carousel of Progress when you're going to Space Mountain.
I know which one.
Those are super clean.
These are super clean.
I mean, they're not themed. I agree with
they're not themed.
I agree with the poster that the ones in Galaxy's Edge are just cool. Yeah, they're well themed.
Yeah.
They're spacious. You got plenty of room. You got the troughs to wash your hands in. So, yeah.
They do have a good theming over there.
Yeah.
I would like to wrap this up, pun intended, because if you hadn't seen my rant on Facebook, apparently.
No, well, it got a lot of traction on Facebook.
Got a lot of traction on Facebook. So here's the deal. It's hot. It's humid. It is steamy in Florida. And you're walking 8 to 10 miles a day. I am with her. 8 to 10 miles a day. And I'm going to tell you the last thing that you need is a chapped ass. Because that one ply piece of shit.
One ply? I thought it was half ply.
Okay. Somebody said online that I was.
There's no such thing as a half ply. There's no such thing as half ply.
I was exaggerating people because it
feels
it's
one very thin ply.
It is the sandpaper of sandpapers on your butt. So when you're walking around and you're like clenched up and it's about like 5 miles in, you're going man, why did I take that dump this morning?
So what I've read is people say, pack your own wet wipes.
That's great, but I'm going to the happiest place in the world, and they can't afford a 2-ply or a 4-ply.
It's
Come on,
keeping you
man.
from being happy. It's making you look like the guy over your shoulder. He gets grumpy and not happy.
Okay, right there.
Okay.
But anyway, yes. So toilets.
Toilets. Make them better.
Yeah, shake twice. Wash your hands.
Hot take, but Dinosaur is one of, if not my favorite classic ride at Walt Disney World. The storyline is engaging, it's thrilling, and the theme/premise appeals to the entire family.
Well, okay. I'm going to question that last part because we've told the story before, but if you haven't listened to all of our podcasts, I'll give a short version
tell
of
it again, man.
We were walking outside of Dinosaur one time. And, Dinosaur has these big dinosaur animatronics. I mean, that's the idea.
It's dark.
It's very dark, and all of a sudden,
shaky.
dinosaurs come out of nowhere at you. And I agree with the first part. I love Dinosaur. I'm very sad
do.
to see it go.
You do.
I'm happy about Indiana Jones, but I'm sad to see Dinosaur go.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we were walking out of it with producer Reagan's parents, and all of a sudden, Mike goes, hold back, because there was this little girl having an absolute meltdown.
My favorite thing in the park.
She's walking with her dad and her older sister. They just come off the ride, and she's crying. And she says, why did you take me on that? I am a child. And he's like, I know, honey. And then she says, this is not the most magical place on earth. This is the most horrible place in the universe. And we just died laughing.
Well,
I don't
right
think it's great for the whole family.
I let her go. But when we got away from them, oh my God.
So I don't know. It's great for the whole family. I do love Dinosaur, though. We ride it every day. We've actually rope dropped Dinosaur many times.
We have.
We've been the first person on Dinosaur for the day.
Yes. I love it.
It's a fun ride. Although, what do we always say? There's about halfway through it when the
my God,
professor
what?
talking to you says, "Oh, engage four-wheel drive." And what do you always say?
Why weren't we in it in the first place? There's no roads. What are we doing here? I have a Jeep. It's in 4-wheel drive when I'm off-road. But yeah, fun ride. I love that ride.
Underrated, absolutely.
Yeah, I do think it's underrated, and I love the retheming of it because you went on the Indiana Jones.
Yeah, it's the same ride vehicle as Indiana Jones in Disneyland.
So
if they do it like that, because that's a fantastic ride. If they do what they did in Disneyland, or even better, then I'm all for it. But yeah, I'm going to miss it.
Yeah.
All right. I practically always prefer an original, non-IP based attraction to the alternative. Give me a story I haven't heard before and can't experience anywhere else. Imagineers have proved that it's possible in the past, and there are even relatively recent examples of success in their Asian parks. Of course, I understand I must be in the minority here, and I'm totally fine with Disney being present throughout the parks, but announcement of any sort of completely original addition to the parks would feel like such a breath of fresh air. And to add, somebody added underneath this, we will never see another Pirates, Mansion, Jungle Cruise, Big Thunder, or Everest. All original stories and now Disney classics.
I agree. I would love to see more of the things and I understand why they put IP in the parks. I understand that's what draws people in. I understand they're capitalizing on what they've done in movies and stories. Yeah. But Disney was about being a storyteller and not just through movies.
Right.
Right? So that we got Pirates of the Caribbean before there was a Pirates of the Caribbean movie with Johnny Depp.
Right.
Was genius. Big Thunder Mountain actually has a very rich story behind it. If you haven't looked it up, there's YouTube videos that go way into detail, and it's very intriguing.
Yeah.
Haunted Mansion, there's fantastic storylines behind that as well.
They didn't know where they're going with a lot of these until it happened. They had original ideas. I mean, if you've watched any of the stuff on
the Imagineering story,
these things just like you said, they were homegrown. They were natural. They were evolving on people's imaginations. I remember when watching Saving Mr. Banks.
Yeah.
And they don't do enough with Mary Poppins in there. And that story was so intriguing of him finding original story that was out there. And while the author is still alive, going after that story and trying to make something on his dream with their help.
Yeah.
And there's so much out there. And I agree with that person. wholeheartedly, because I don't think you're drawing people into the park based on things that are out on the Marvel universe. I mean, even Star Wars was, long time coming
Right.
to put something in the parks,
Right.
but have an original story. I love building a lightsaber. That's original. They're using characters that are outside of the initial, but they got stories that are in there. The bounty hunting, the things that you can do in Batu.
So taking a base and then going original from a base, which is kind of
my
what
own
happened.
story.
And again, just said we haven't written it yet, but that's what they've tried to do with Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
Right.
And the most criticism that I've heard of it are, I want to see Tiana in her ball gown. I don't want to see her being a corporate business person.
Soccer mom.
Well, that's basically what I've heard. And they took a base and took it somewhere else. So I don't think we're going to see much of it because they get complaints when they do that. And I know we're a Disney podcast, but I'm going to take a second and talk about the place, the other place, the Shadowlands. The
Shadowlands.
Yeah, down the street, down I-4. What Universal is doing with Epic Universe coming out. They have lands that are based on IP, but they have this entire celestial theme thing that has nothing to do with any IP. That I'm most intrigued about that land. I'm interested to see how they do it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say Disney's never been the follower, and this isn't going to be intriguing where this goes. I understand.
Yeah,
and they've always been the one out in the forefront of new ideas and new directions that they take, and their task right now, and I think they have an opportunity in front of them.
Yeah.
To, hey, pick it up a little bit. Mm-hmm. You guys know what you're doing, but you've lost that edge.
Yeah.
You sat back. You got complacent.
They did.
And now let's light a fire under you and see where you're going. It's kind of funny. I have to tell this story before we go on, because the Dark Lands and the Shadowlands, the place that shall not be spoken of. My beautiful wife here was she was giving a presentation in front of a large group of corporate people
at the Grand Floridian.
At the Grand Floridian at Disney with a Disney Imagineering guest.
A keynote speaker that was a Disney Imagineer asked for help from the audience.
So she was chosen to help.
And I'm wearing a red blazer that has Minnie Mouse on the lining. Mm-hmm. I am Disneyed out.
Yeah, you are. You had ears.
And yes. And he said he needed some help. And he said, imagine a theme for a birthday party. Mm-hmm. And what does this Disney podcaster, Disney travel agent, wearing Minnie Mouse blazer at the Grand Floridian say? Harry Potter. I was, as soon as it came out of my mouth, I just wanted to crawl into a hole and die. And he kind of blinked at me. God bless him. Duncan McCordle, he was the head of all the Pixar ideas. He came up with the storyline for Cars, Toy Story. Genius guy, fantastic keynote speech. It was very empowering. But I said Harry Potter, and he blinked 2 or 3 times. And then he was like, all right, I'm Scottish. Let's go with it. And he just went forward. I still can't believe I did that. I don't know why you brought it up right now, but that's a fun story.
Because you actually said the name, and I didn't know where we were going to fit that story in, but it was a good one.
Hey, Reagan, let's do one more hot
One more,
take.
yeah.
Oh, I have the perfect one to wrap up with. The Muppets should have a larger presence.
Oh.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I say, and this is not original, I saw it online, they need to integrate or take over Hall of Presidents.
Yes.
With a Muppets thing.
Totally.
Absolutely. I know that there's rumors that the Muppets, the Muppet 3D show, Muppet Vision 3D, is going to go away
No.
when they do the Monsters ride. Because there's that's the rumor. We don't have that confirmed yet. But they've said Muppets will continue to be in the park. As long as they go somewhere else, I'm fine with losing Muppet Vision 3D because it is a little dated.
I like Sam.
I love Sam the Eagle. I love Muppets in general. The Muppets are fantastic. If you've never gone back on Disney Plus and watched the original Muppet Show from the 70s, I highly recommend. Especially if you're Gen X like us. It brings back such fantastic memories. Yeah. They're just hilarious. And Jim Henson was a genius.
Alice Cooper.
Yes. There's a whole episode with Alice Cooper on it. Yeah. I mean, Mark Hamill. We had Superman. John Denver, Superman.
Christopher Reeves.
Christopher Reeves.
Everybody's been on it.
Fantastic.
Yeah. It's a great
yes,
show.
the Muppets need to stick around.
Yes.
I would love to see them somewhere in Liberty Square.
I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah. Sam the Eagle.
For mostly America.
So that pivots into my hot take. If you go on YouTube, you can find the Muppets doing the entirety of Hamilton.
Yes.
Disney currently, I believe, owns the rights to Hamilton.
They do.
Oh my.
That's why it's on Disney Plus.
I believe that they need to bring Muppet Hamilton to the parks.
In Hall of Presidents.
In Hall of Presidents.
Okay, go everyone write to Disney.
Yes,
Tell them
let's
to listen to
start this.
producer
Muppet
Reagan.
Hamilton.
We're starting a petition. Muppet Hamilton in Hall of Presidents.
Do it. Everybody get on board. Let's bombard them with
Muppet
Hamilton.
That's awesome, Reagan. Hey,
that's
this is a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks for doing
I love
that.
this. We'll do another episode like this sometime in another month or so. That was a blast. But until then,
Take your toilet paper to Disney.
take your like, comment, tell us what you think about these hot takes. We'd love to hear it.
If you want to see me wet my pants, go to YouTube. Otherwise, you're just going to have to imagine it yourself of champagne spraying all over me.
And if you're looking for help planning your Disney vacation, you can reach out to me. You can find me on mimosaswithmickey.com, tripsbyruthie@gmail.com,
Right.
and I'd be happy to help you out.
Yeah, check us out on Instagram. We're Mimosas with Mickey there too.
Absolutely. And until next time, see you real soon.
Hasta luego.